Yo, what's good? Big Z here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make your piano sound huge. So that's just a random track I'm working on, but I thought it'd be a good example of how to get your pianos to sit in the mix well and make them sound big. So I'm going to mute these vocal chops so you can hear it better. So the key to getting pianos to sound big is in the layering and the processing. So here's how it would sound with just one piano and no processing. And then once I add in the layers and the processing, here's the final product. Alright, so I'll show you the layers and the processing I have going on here. So first up, I have an M1 piano. It's just one of the classic M1 pianos, but it's right in the middle of the stereo field, just mono in the stereo field, which you can see by this stereo image plugin. It's just a mono sound. So I'm actually going to keep it mono because I want it to cut through the middle of the mix there, but that just means I want to layer it with a stereo sound. So when you're layering pianos, you should be thinking about where they're sitting in the stereo spectrum, and you should also be thinking about where they're sitting in the frequency spectrum. So in this case, this piano is taking up a lot of the frequency spectrum, but only the middle of the stereo field. So I'm going to let this piano go across a wide range of frequencies here with my EQ. But I'm just going to keep it mono because I'm going to layer it with a more stereo sound afterwards. Another big thing with pianos is they have a lot of harsh frequencies sometimes, and a good way to get rid of those is multi-band compression. So without the multi-band compression on this piano, here's what it sounds like. Then with it. Especially these high frequencies up here around 4,000, 5,000 hertz can get really harsh sounding, so you gotta watch out for those frequencies. So let's move on to the next piano layer, which is a wide piano layer, which sounds like this. So that might sound kind of weak on its own, but when I add it to the other piano, it makes a huge difference. So this is without that wide piano layer. Then with it. Just really widens everything up. So this piano's purpose is to fill up the whole stereo field, but not necessarily the whole frequency spectrum. And that's why in this EQ, I'm using mid-side EQing. So in FabFilter Pro Q2, you change it from left-right to mid-side down here. And just to make sure none of these middle frequencies are interfering with the other piano layer, I've dropped them down. So I've taken a really wide band here with a wide Q and just dropped down the middle frequencies by hitting this button right here and moving the gain down. So now only really the side information of this piano is coming through, which makes it sound good when layered with the other piano. Also, I'm cutting off everything below like 270 Hz and above 5,000 Hz in this one because I just want those mid-range frequencies. I don't want anything too low or too high on the stereo layer. So the last layer is an important one, and it's actually layering your piano with some saw plucks. That makes it sound a lot bigger. So these are just basic saw plucks I've made in Serum. Just any plucky sound with a sharp attack will do. But this just makes a huge difference in the context of the whole mix. Like if I play this whole mix together and mute that sound, now add it in. You can't even necessarily hear that layer in the mix, but it actually just makes a huge difference and sounds like the pianos are getting a lot bigger when you add it in. So I'm sending all three of these layers to the same bus where I'm doing some group processing on them. So if I were to turn this group processing off, then I'll add it in. So what I'm doing is just compressing them together with this compressor. And then after that, I'm adding an exciter just to make it a little brighter sounding. And then I think the most important part is adding a transient designer to this piano bus. This just increases the volume of the initial attack of the piano, so it cuts through the mix a lot better. So I'll keep turning the transient designer on and off while I play the drop, so you can hear how much it helps the chords cut through the mix. Alright, so that's how I usually layer pianos together. I just always think about them in terms of the stereo field and also the frequency spectrum, just to make sure I have everything covered. So anyway, hopefully some of you guys found this helpful. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Spotify below. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.